Hello, everyone. God bless each and every one of you tonight. Thank you for logging in tonight and joining us for another segment of Matters of the Heart Live. I hope you all have had a blessed Monday. I hope that everything's been well for each and every one of you today. And I'm so glad that you came on tonight. I ask that you would just like and share this with someone to feel be blessed. I appreciate all of you that come on and share. We won't be on long tonight, but I did want to get on and greet each and every one of you on tonight and just share something from my heart. So I appreciate you all. Hopefully, you all. We didn't meet last week because of the 4th of July holiday. I had every intentions. I was just going to go live when I was with my family, but I started eating and just got sidetracked. So we just let everyone enjoy themselves last Monday. And the Monday before that, we talked about. I told you I was going to be dealing with grief for a while, which we're going to go back and pick that up. But tonight, I felt led to go a different route and to do something differently for tonight. Tonight, I wanted to talk about. I was clicked on my Bible app today, and the scripture that was there today came from Psalm 77:11 through 12, and it blessed me today. It says, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of thy work, of all thy work, and talk of thy doings. When I read that today, it just blessed me. And there were some other little meanings, other little notes that went along with that scripture. And one of them says, I cannot stop thinking about your mighty works. It's so easy for us to, and I just want to talk to you all for a little while. I contemplated on whether I was going to go live tonight just because physically I don't feel 100%, shall I say, having little challenges here the last couple of days. But my pastor always taught us if you based everything off of how you feel, you will never do anything. So we got to, keep pushing, keep going. Rest, of course, do what you the necessary things to do. But the enemy, when he finds out, if he finds out that making you feel ill or causing a distraction is going to stop you from doing and completing the will of God, he's going to do that every time. He's going to do it every time. So we got to be mindful of that. But it's easy for us to forget um, when we're going through what God has done for us. But the psalmist is saying here, he says, I will remember. And oftentimes we, the people of God, we get amnesia and we forget. But we should. There's a song that says, Jesus, I never forget what you done for me. That's a powerful song. We should never, ever, ever, ever forget what he's done for us. He's done so many wonderful things. And I know I'm talking to some folks tonight, and I'm trying to keep myself down. I said, I'm not going to get elevated tonight. But I know I'm talking to some folks tonight that God has done some wonderful, wonderful, miraculous things. If that's you tonight, you ought to say something tonight. You ought to post something in the comment section and say, that's me. If he's done some wonderful and miraculous things for you. But oftentimes we would tend to forget because things start happening in our lives and problems arise and trouble starts coming and we start getting attacked. Um, uh, I see you, Bishop said I did enough praising yesterday. Yeah, I shouldn't have been doing all that. But let me tell y'all something. That word that came forth yesterday at church by Pastor Coleman, guest speaker, he preached, it won't break me. I probably shouldn't have been doing all I was doing, but I had to do it because what we're going through, what I'm going through, it won't break me. I said today, I'm not going to allow sickness. I'm not going to allow affliction. I'm not going to allow persecution. I'm not going to allow any of those things to break me. Why? Because back to the text tonight, I remember the works of the Lord. And when you remember what God has done for you, when you remember how he brought you out when you was in situations you didn't see how you was gonna come out. You didn't know how you was gonna make it. You didn't know how it was gonna turn out, and he intervened and he make a way. When you just remember what he's done, that brings peace. See, like someone told me once before. She said, God, once before, I remember when I was in the hospital, she said, God has a record of healing. And I said, yes, he does. That stuck with me. God has a record of healing. God has a record of delivering. God has a record of saving. Everything that we dealing with, it has to come subject. It has to bow. I don't care what it is. It has to bow. Cancer got to bow. Anxiety got to bow. Poverty, all those things. Depression, those things has to bow. It is not powerful than God. You got to tell your problem instead of telling, I heard a quote said, instead of telling God how big your problems are, tell your problems how big your God is. And that's what the psalmist says, I will remember. He says, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I'm going to remember the old stuff. The stuff that you did for others in the past, the stuff that you did for others in other lineages. I'm remembering what you did for my grandparents and the stories that they told, and how God made a way, how God made a provision, how they were able to raise. One set of my grandparents had 9 children. The other set of my grandparents had 13 children. How they were able to raise all of those kids, put clothes on all of those kids, feed all of those kids. That was God. They didn't have the education and the income that we have nowadays. But the psalmist says, I remember the wonders of, I will meditate. You got to meditate. You got, this thing is daily. You have to keep your mind renewed. You have to meditate no matter how hard it gets. You got to meditate on what God has done. If he did it back then, guess what? He can do it right now. I don't care. See, like sometimes the enemy, he'll turn the heat up. He'll intensify the fire. He, just like the Hebrew boys, when they got in, before they got in, the king told them, he said, he wanted to make sure that fire consumed them. Said, make the fire 7 times hotter. And that's all the enemy is doing. He's turning the heat up on us. He says, so if I can't get you right here, I'm going to try this right here. I'm going to get you right there. And if I can't get you right here, and then he starts using people that are close to us. He starts using things that are close to us to try to attack us, to try to discourage us, to try to get us to give up, to throw in the towel. But God knew he'll send a word. It's like he sent that word to me yesterday, said, it won't break me. It won't break me. Always remember what he has done for you. Always. Even when the results are not as you may see as favorable, always remember that God is God and that he knows what's best and that he will. The psalmist says, I will meditate. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to keep this on my mind. Keep this in my spirit. We have to renew our minds daily. I wake up and I say, today is going to be a good day. Regardless how I feel, I say today is going to be a good day. May not feel that way physically on the inside of my body, but I yet still declare, I say today is going to be a good day. I'm going to have peace. I'm going to have peace. You got to grab a hold of your peace, because sometimes your peace can get shaken. But just as Jesus said, peace, be still, you got to speak to your peace and say, be still. Peace. I'm going to have peace. I'm going to have peace in my home. I'm going to have peace on my job. I'm going to have peace in the church. Because let me tell you, the devil don't discriminate. He'll bring hell in the church. Just like he'll bring it in your home. He'll bring it on your job. He'll use individuals. And I was attending a training online today. And it was nothing of religious for work. And the presenter made an excellent point. Say you can't look at the individual, you have to look at the behavior. A lot of times we look at the individual and we want to get upset with the individual, but we got to look at the behavior. We take that into the spiritual realm. We're looking at, it ain't that person, it's that spirit, it's that demon, that demonic stronghold that's working inside of them. It ain't the person, it's that spirit in them. And so that's why we have to pray. I ain't mean to go down that road, but we got to pray that that spirit that's within them and within us, because sometimes we get spirits in us too. Sometimes I get the devil in me too. Just comically, my pastor asked me something a few weeks ago, and he said, he had asked me a question, and I was a little slow responding. And he said, "You got the devil in you, don't you?" I said, "Uh-huh." I said, "I do. I got him in me." He said, "You better get that devil off of you." See, I tell the truth about myself. See, I ain't like some of y'all. Some of y'all perfect and y'all upright. Y'all don't make no mistakes. Some of y'all dot all y'all I's and y'all cross all y'all T's. Well, that's not my story. That's not my testimony. That's not my case. Sometimes the enemy is the enemy. Sometimes I am the issue. Sometimes I am the problem. We can point it at everybody else, but sometimes it's you. It ain't the devil, it's you. You are the issue. You are the problem. But it ain't what I'm talking about tonight. I always remember, he says, "I will meditate also of all thy work and talk about thy doings." We got to talk of the goodness of God. We can easily spread gossip. We can easily spread mess. Just think about if we would spend more time spreading the gospel like we spend spreading each other's business and other people's garbage and other people's mess. If you spent more time spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, there will be so many souls that will be saved, so many that will be added to the kingdom. That's why we have to remember. And he says, and talk. You got to talk of what he's done. You can't just allow him to do these miraculous things for you. You go and sit down and you don't testify. You don't tell of the goodness. You got to tell people what God has done for you. Never get tired of telling your testimony. I don't care if people get tired of hearing it. Somebody need to hear it. Some others might have heard it before, but somebody else, that might be their first time. Okay, I'm bringing it back now. That's right, Bishop. I got to get them off me. That's what I was doing yesterday. I was getting them off me. I was getting them up off me because I said this ain't gonna break me. So I had to praise my way through. Sometimes you got to praise your way through. And let me help y'all out. Praise is your weapon. And I posted about that this morning. The enemy, if he can rob you of your praise, if he can stop you from what the psalmist is telling you to do, if he can stop you from remembering, and if he can stop you from meditating and talking about the goodness of God, then he's robbing you. He's robbing you of your praise. My pastor always said, you got to think to be thankful. And when you start thinking, oh my God, you will start thinking. When you just start thinking about, you ain't even got to go all the way back. If you just look back on last week and see how God made a way, look back on how he opened doors just on last week, how he provided. You know, a lot of people, and I'm done, they complaining, about the gas prices. They complaining about the food prices. Yes, they are absolutely ridiculous. But you know what I tell God? God, I thank you that you blessed me with the means that I'm able to go. I went and filled up today. Cost me nearly $60. I went and filled up today. And I thank God that there's money in the bank that I'm able to fill my car up. I pass so many people that's on the side of the road holding up signs. And I joke sometimes and say I'm one paycheck away from holding that sign, just comically saying that. But in reality, I thank God that that's not my story, but we are always complaining. You ought to thank God you're able to go to the gas station and you're able to get gas. You ought to thank God that you're able to go to the grocery store and everything. I remember one time for one of my older jobs I used to work for, I used to do deliveries, and I had a delivery at West Cancer Center Clinic. And I remember I was having little kind of rough day that day at work. I don't know. It was something going on, but I was in a mood that day. And when I walked into that establishment and I had to make that delivery, I had to pass through where those people were getting their chemotherapy and receiving their treatment. And instantly, I said, God, here I am, upset about whatever problem was minute. And here it is, somebody, these people in here fighting for their lives. And here I am feeling however I'm feeling. And they in here battling this cancer demon. They're battling. And here I am complaining. I'm feeling bad for whatever that particular day. And that caused me to be thankful. You got to be thankful. Even when every month, I have to go get infusions every month. I don't think not a lot of people, y'all, I don't have secrets anyways, but whatever. People that are close to me, they know I have to go get infusion treatments every month. And so even when I go do that, do I get sick of getting stuck? Yes, I do. But guess what? I have life. I'm alive. I got breath in my body. May not be to full strength like I want to be, but I'm alive, and I appreciate that. We have to meditate, and we have to thank God for the small blessings. Thank Him for the small blessings. You may have to, some things are part of the process. Healing is a process. That's a process. So that's why I made up in my mind, every opportunity that I get, I'm going to get up and pray. I probably shouldn't have been shouting like I was shouting in church yesterday. But let me tell you, God's been good to me. May not have felt like it, but I tell you, my pastor always said, when you get in the spirit, you forget about how you feel. You don't feel, but when you come down, you feel it. And I just want y'all to know I felt it yesterday. I'm feeling it today, but I got to cut off. But God, always remember. I just want to remind us, that fell in my spirit today. Always remember. And one of my sweet godmothers, she's gone on to be with the Lord now. Some of you may know her by the name of Moochie. She used to tell me, God gave us 5 senses. So when that being said, I got to take care of me. I can't overdo it, and I'm learning. Evangelist Walker, she's on here. She called me earlier, and she said, Jarvis, you got to take care of yourself. It's okay to say no. So I'm learning to, I got to take care of me and pull back. You can't be everything to everybody. You can't do everything, especially when you have certain things going on and ailments. You got to slow down. So that's why I'm cutting this short tonight. I'm trying not to get excited and elevated, because God gave me 5 senses, so I got to be smart. And I'm not trying to be down the street. And if anybody know where my parents' home is, down, I can look in the backyard, stand in the backyard and see Methodist Hospital. So I ain't trying to go there. So I thank y'all for watching tonight. I wanted to share that word with you all. I always remember that blessed me when I read that scripture today in Psalms. I always remember, never forget what God has done for you, even on those dark, difficult days. I always remember that He is able and that He is a keeper. I know I got some people out there tonight that's testified. They can testify with me that God is a keeper, that God will keep you. God, I know I got some people out there. I know I do. So I always remember what God has done for you. I love you all. Thank you all for praying for me. Many people have sent me messages. People have texted me. I appreciate you all. Some of you know I have been feeling well. I appreciate that so much. We're looking forward to the victory that God is going to give. When I go in a few weeks, I got to go back to the cardiologist, and we looking for victory. God going to give me victory over that situation. In a couple of weeks, I got to go get my infusion treatments. God going to give me victory over that situation too. He gets the glory. The devil has no glory, gets no glory whatsoever. God gets all the glory. Some people say, well, you shouldn't share certain information. Well, I try to be transparent because you don't know who you helping. It ain't that I'm telling my business. I really don't care. I just, I want to be a testimony and a light to somebody else that you can make it and you can survive whatever you're going through. God is in control and he gets the glory. So thank y'all for watching. God bless y'all tonight. I love you all. Again, thank you for praying for me. You pray for me and I pray for you. And we watch God change things. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. God bless you.